influencing pop culture, politics, and everything in between, taking you ringside as we discuss the crazy world that is professional wrestling. This is Going Ringside.
Hey there, welcome. A special episode here at Going Ringside because we just met up with one of the top stars on the planet Earth. Tiffany Stratton, the world champion, is here. Just sat down with her to talk about WrestleMania going to Las Vegas and so much more. WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia we touch on. I asked her a little about whether she's injured because if you saw SmackDown a couple weeks ago, she took a hard fall. And of course, her iconic Barbie entrance last year at WrestleMania. When I saw it, I'm like, this is one of the most amazing entrances I've ever seen in history. And Tiffany Stratton pulled it off. So we talk about this and more. So I want to get right to it. Here's the star herself. Here's the champion of the world. This is Tiffany Stratton. Well, we're excited to be joined on the show now by Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well, WrestleMania returning to Las Vegas. The kickoff begins now. Talk to me about it. Are you excited to be going back to Las Vegas? This is a big second year in a row there.
Oh yeah, I am super excited. Last year was my first ever WrestleMania and it was in Las Vegas. So I feel like this is kind of special to me. I wrestled Charlotte Flair, as we know, at WrestleMania, and I also beat her. So I'm excited to go back. I feel like Vegas is the perfect spot to host something like this. WrestleMania is like the Super Bowl for wrestling in WWE. And I feel like there is something for everybody in Vegas. We have, we have NXT there. We're going to have Raw and SmackDown there. There's going to be after parties, watch parties all along the strip. So I'm super excited to go back. And I feel like the fans are also super excited.
As far as your last WrestleMania, you had one of the most iconic, maybe the most iconic WrestleMania entrance I think I've ever seen with the Barbie themed entrance. How did that come to creation?
So back in NXT, I had actually pitched this idea to come out of like a Barbie box. However, I think with, like trademarking and stuff like that, it wasn't going to really work out. And then I believe Mattel reached out and they offered this idea to have like the long screens and have me like dance on it. And it was like a dream come true for me because I had been wanting to do something like this since NXT. So to have it debut at WrestleMania, my first WrestleMania, was just such an amazing opportunity. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without Triple H and Mattel. So I'm really blessed to be able to have that in my career.
Now, I want to ask how you're doing physically. There's been rumor mill going around about injury. You had a hard landing on SmackDown a few weeks ago. How are you doing physically right now?
Physically, I'm okay. Obviously, on that moonsault, it was a little bit of a rough landing. However, I was fine. I think it was just more like precautionary and kind of just monitoring and seeing if anything was like bad about the fall. But for the most part, like I'm doing good. I'm great.
Women's champion. Did you think this would come this early in your career? What it has been like?
Yes and no. I think winning the briefcase was like a big, like I could become champion, I could fail and not become champion, but I think in the back of my head, like I always knew that I was gonna become champion one day. I just didn't think it would be this early on in my main roster career. But I'm super blessed. I'm super happy. We're learning as we go. I feel like I've grown so much during this title reign, and I feel like the fans have seen it. And I can't wait to grow even more with this title. Hopefully I'm one of the longest reigning champions.
A lot of viewers who see you as kind of a Barbie girl. Right now you're dealing with people like Jade Cargill, Nia Jax. I mean, it looks like, just visually, it can look like a mismatch, but you make it not that way. Can you talk to me about that dynamic of, facing women like that?
I think I've been getting that my whole career. I think people look at me and they have these preconceived judgments of me and that, oh, she's just a pretty face. She's not a hard hitter. She's not good in the ring. But I think every time that bell rings, I prove everybody wrong. And I think for some reason, like I have to prove people every time I have a match. So every time I feel like I try and do that. And I try and prove people wrong every single match that I have. And I've already beaten Jade Cargill. I've already beaten Nia Jax. So in this triple threat this Friday, I'm going in super confident and ready.
Now, you had a lot of drama. You mentioned the Charlotte Flair beating Charlotte Flair last year. There was a lot of very personal things said in the lead up and going into that match. And what was that like? Was that difficult?
The WrestleMania build, it was quite interesting, but I couldn't even believe that I was going to be at WrestleMania, let alone walking in as the WWE Women's Champion. So I was just trying to take every moment and be in the moment and enjoy the process. So I'm really happy with how my WrestleMania performance was.
And before we wrap, we're talking about Vegas this year, but there's been a huge announcement for the first time. WrestleMania a year after will go to Saudi Arabia. This is a massive thing for the company. What are your thoughts on taking WrestleMania to the Middle East? I mean, we've done shows, but WrestleMania itself.
I'm excited. The last time we were there, I believe we went on like this little safari adventure, and I hope we get to do that again because that was super fun. But I think Bianca mentioned like women are making history over there, and I can't wait to be a part of that myself. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait.
Well, Tiffany Stratton, good luck in your upcoming matches and your continuing title defenses. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So glad we could sit down with Tiffany, and we're here at Going Ringside thinking about whether or not we need to take the show on the road for WrestleMania in Las Vegas. We will keep you updated with that. Of course, we'll be looking to get in touch with Tiffany if we do head out to Vegas for a big show out there. But she is the top of the world right now, looking to stay that way against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. We will see. I'm Scott Johnson. Thanks for joining us on this latest episode of Going Ringside. We'll see you back here next time.